This new Social Security bill would do three things: increase your Social Security, make Social Security more solvent, and reduce the federal debt. It's a threefer. It's a triple-double. And if you buy that, well, I got some oceanfront property in West Virginia for you, baby. So here's, where the hell is she from? Michigan? Wisconsin? Minnesota. Minnesota, excuse me. They all look like Tyson. All those upper Midwest states, they all look like Tyson. So here's Angie Craig announcing a new, this is from her press release of her congressional office, so it's completely on the up and up. She announces new legislation to eliminate federal taxes on Social Security. It would help improve Social Security's long-term solvency and reduce the federal debt. Yay! Sorry, Pablo. By eliminating federal taxes on Social Security, her You Earned It, You Keep It Act would eliminate all federal taxes on Social Security benefits beginning next year, putting money back into the pocket of retirees. The bill would be paid for by raising the cap on Social Security payroll tax so higher earner Americans continue to paying into Social Security. According to a nonpartisan analysis, which in this case is the Office of Chief Actuary, which is what I did the video on, we looked at some of the bills that have been proposed through the Office of Chief Actuary a couple weeks ago. The Bernie Sanders one. There's a lady out of the Alaska senator who's no longer there. There's a couple other. I noticed there's no Republican bills that the chief actuary is looking at to vent or to look at. Is all Democrats, because the Democrats are literally serious about protecting Social Security. I don't want to say anything more. Anyway. According to Representative Craig's bill, would allow the Social Security Administration to continue making all payments on time and in full through 2054, extending the solvency another 20 years. The same analysis showed that if you earned it, her You Earned It, You Keep It Act would reduce the debt by $9 trillion over 75 years. This bill is a win-win, says Representative Craig. It's a tax cut for seniors, which is true. A way to ensure more Americans can depend on a Social Security benefit they've earned. And on top of that, it's fiscally responsible, coming from the Democrats. I'm leading the charge on this issue because Congress needs to get money back into the pockets of middle-class Americans. And then they got these fools that are co-sponsoring as well. And, literally, Ronald Reagan, you know what I'm saying, run on three things and three things only. In this case, this crazy loon lib from Minnesota is running on three things: reduce the debt, get you more Social Security, keep it solvent. What are the Republicans running on? Keep Social Security solvent by how? Increasing the federal full retirement age and what are they going to do? They're going to increase the federal, and they're going to reduce benefits. That's what they're doing. So they're going to keep Social Security solvent by increasing the full retirement age, reducing benefits, but they'll keep Social Security solvent. It's kind of like the same people say, I really want to buy local sourced grass-fed beef. And then they go look at a local farmer who's charging $9.99 a pound for ground beef. And they're like, I can get that at Costco for $3.99. You're like, yeah, but it's not grass-fed. It's not locally sourced. Yeah, but money talks and BS walks. Kind of like the people, I'm green. I want to go green as they fly airplanes. So like, well, you can't fly an airplane and say you're concerned about carbon dioxide. Yeah, but I really want to take this vacation. Okay. Same thing with a Made in America. I want to buy Made in American clothes. Yeah, but the Made in American T-shirt is $14 more than what I could get at Walmart from slave labor China. So Republicans focusing on solvency. Everyone wants to make Social Security more solvent. That is true, but not at the backs of their own pockets. That's just a fact. And so the Democrats say, no, we're going to do all three. And it doesn't cost you a dime, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It only costs those people over there a dime. And for me, it costs me, for every $100,000 I made above, because I'm self-employed, above the 169 threshold or whatever it is, it costs me $15,300. It's the biggest tax increase in the history of mankind, in America, I should say. So think about it, for all the entrepreneurs, all the small business people, they would immediately be out $15,300 every single $100,000 they made. Who employs most people? Well, most people are employed by small businesses and startups. And small business isn't, you think it's small, like I'm just a one-man shop. A small business is any business under 500 people. So if those people had to pay more than $15,300 on every $100,000 above the payroll cap right now, what are they going to do? So here's how it works with the budgets and reconciliations, all this. They didn't slice this to the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office. But I'm sure the Social Security's chief actuary does the same thing. And look, they are nonpartisan. I got no qualm with those guys. But what they do in these analysis on how it's going to reduce the debt by $9 trillion is they call it baseline budgeting in the and this isn't baseline budgeting, but there's another term I forgot. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, what happens is, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, in this case the Social Security chief actuary, they say, okay, you are going to raise $15,300 more in taxes for every $100,000 of income. That's a fact. That's what we're going to say. And they're going to say, so we're going to assume that's true. Thus, if Josh made $1 million, and I don't make a million, but just say I did, that would give us an extra $150,300. If we do that times 100 taxpayers, we have more money in the budget to pay down the debt. That's just a fact. What they don't look at, though, is they don't look at the ramifications of the act. For every action, there's a reaction. Thus, if you raise my taxes by $15,300, I'm going to be less inclined to work an extra year or extra quarter. And if you actually look at Pippi Longstocking, the lady who wrote that was an avowed socialist until she started making money. And I talked about one of my books, I forgot which one, until she started making money, though. And then when she started making money, she said, wait a second. In Sweden, they had essentially a 102% effective tax rate once you broke a certain income level, and it wasn't very high. And she was like, well, I'm not going to make any more money. Why would I like say $100,000? If I make $100,000 and anything above $100,000, the government gets it all. Why would I ever work? I'm a slave. And Ronald Reagan did the same thing when he became Republican. He said, wait a second. He was taxed at 70% above a certain threshold. So basically, I'm only keeping 30% of my labor. Why would I do that? And that's what made him become a Republican. He says, that's crazy. And same thing here. And so what happens with these budget bills and whatnot is they never look at, there could be a counteraction to say, we're not, Pippi Longstocking, the lady, I forgot her name, Ronald Reagan, Josh, I'm not going to work that much if I'm not going to keep a significant portion of my money. And if I lose $15,000 every $100,000, well, that's not that much. You still got to pay income tax. You still got to pay the state of Georgia tax too. So you're losing $15,300 just on Social Security alone. You're going to lose another 25% to the U.S. government and another 5.5% to Georgia. And that's so you're losing 50% of your income right there. Why would you? And then if you're employing people, you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. On top of that, you still got to pay payroll tax for all your employees. You're like, no, it's too. I'm not going to bear the brunt of this. I'm going to reduce my labor force. I'm going to reduce my work hours. And as such, that $9 trillion that this fool says is going to come to fruition to reduce the debt, it won't be there. It won't matriculate. None of these things ever do because people are emotional beings. They're rational, generally speaking. They say, I'm not going to subject myself to these idiots. You see what I'm saying? That's how it works. But it sounds great. And what's the Republicans? We're going to make Social Security solvent. How? We're going to reduce your benefits. Oh. And we're going to increase your full retirement age. It's insane. And also, by the way, people like the idea of taxing the rich. They like it. They do. Republicans, for some reason, have been good at standing strong against that. But there's another way to tax the rich without actually taxing the rich per se. It's still tax the rich. Is to increase the taxation on qualified dividends and long-term capital gains. That's what you say. If you got more than $1 million of income, you're no longer paying preferential tax treatment on your long-term capital gains and qualified dividends. We're going to tax those as ordinary income. That's going to affect no one. Of course, notice what she doesn't do, this lady here. She doesn't index the Social Security taxes either. So she doesn't talk about that. But that's okay because she's saying we're just going to make Social Security tax free, which is what it should be anyway. It's a win-win, man, for them. It's a lose-lose for small business. It's certainly a lose-lose for taxpayers at the end of the day because none of this will work the way she says in terms of budget deficits and all that. But what's the alternative? Well, we don't have an alternative from the Republican side. There is no alternative. It's crazy, man. All right. I love your thoughts. God bless.